Hello, Georgetown. I'm Beverly Enos, and I am the host for Spotlight Georgetown. This is part of our cable TV committee, putting new shows into the cable process and letting people know what is going on in Georgetown. We're spotlighting individuals, committees, boards, people that would like to join us for some type of an interview. So if that's of interest to you, let us know and give me a call, and we'll make sure that we get you on the show. And today we have with us, we have Jim Lacey. Now, Jim and I were just chatting a couple of minutes ago, and Jim said that you have been in town since when?
1968, June of 1968.
So it's been a long time.
39 years. It's been a while.
You're currently a member of the Finance and Advisory Board.
Yes.
And this is actually your second stint
on
that.
True.
And you've also served on what other boards in town?
The school committee. I was on the school committee here in Georgetown from 1980 until 1993.
Okay, so you've really seen a little bit of all types of different things.
Yes, yes,
and
that's true.
Today we're talking about the Alliance for Georgetown.
Yes, that's right.
Now, can you explain to me, this is something I don't think most people have even heard of. So can
Probably
you explain
not.
what it is and what it does and why it was formed?
Oh, okay. Well, let me start with why it was formed first. When I was on the Finance Committee the last time, we talked a lot about economic development. Mm-hmm. And we started this as sort of to think about being an economic development committee. And the first time I got a group of people together to talk about this, we were joined by some people from Amesbury. They have a similar organization in Amesbury. And they advised us that it would be more flexible for the organization if it were not a town committee. So they suggested that we become a separate corporation. And that's what we did.
Okay,
so we incorporated. We're not a town committee.
And it's not appointed by selectmen or anybody
no,
that's here. So
anyone
join.
Our qualifications for joining are if you live in Georgetown or work in Georgetown, you can be a member of the Alliance for Georgetown. It's very open.
Now, exactly what does it do?
Well, let me read you our mission statement, if I may. It'll take a minute. It said our mission is to engage in specific projects in partnership with the town of Georgetown, local businesses, civic organizations, public and private entities, and individuals, which enhance the character of Georgetown through a series of improvements that result in a friendly and inviting environment to support existing business activity, encourage new business to come to Georgetown, and generally make Georgetown a more pleasant and attractive place to work. So the idea is economic development with a sense of what the benefit is to the town.
Okay.
And we hope to engage the businesses some more, to maybe get them involved in some civic projects. For instance, if I may move into projects.
Go right ahead.
One of the things we did a couple of years ago talked about what kinds of projects we could get involved in, and we decided that Harry Murch Park was a good choice. And Rob Hoover, who was the chair of the planning board, was coming to some of our meetings, and he volunteered to do a plan for Harry Murch Park. And the reason Harry Murch Park was chosen, it's sort of a gateway into Georgetown, into downtown on Route 133. So he did Harry Murch Park. However, as part of the Alliance, the Historical Commission and several people on the Historical Commission, and they were concerned because they wanted to make Harry Murch Park, they wanted to put it, as I understand it, on the National Register.
Okay.
So we sort of backed away a little bit, and they went to the town and got $15,000 at the Springtown meeting to do a study, and the idea of the study was to make sure that whatever was done to Harry Murch Park would still allow them to apply to the National Register for parks.
So that project may still go on?
I think the veterans are involved, because what's going to happen eventually is it's going to become sort of a veterans memorial park. There was a World War I memorial there. They have since moved the World War II memorial there from the library.
Correct, yeah.
And the veterans have been talking about building a memorial to, I guess, Vietnam and maybe some of these other things. So it could end up being a Veterans Memorial Park.
And still an open park for people to use.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So that's going to actually involve lots of different committees and groups
Yes.
working on a project like that.
Yes, it would.
Okay.
Yes, it would. And I would. The idea is for us to sort of take the lead, and maybe get some funding from businesses to get business to supply in-kind services and things like that to kind of keep the cost under control. So that's one of our biggies.
Is now forewarned that this is coming.
Yeah.
All right, now you have to have other projects going.
We do. We're in the middle of working on a survey of customers, of people that come into Georgetown to shop. We went to the high school, and I know that they announced that they were going to have the students have to do community service. Turns out they're not doing that till next year, but we did find a group. It's called a peer leader group, and one of their things is doing community service. So they've been doing the survey for us. We were at Settlers one morning, and also Crosby's one morning and one afternoon, and the kids from high school were there. And we have a form, and we asked people to fill out the form, and we've collated it. And on the 8th and 15th of December, they'll be back at Settlers on the 8th anyway, and also to Noonan's. And the idea was Crosby's, Noonan's, and Settlers are destination stores. What we thought is that people come in to go there.
Yes.
And while most of the people that went to Crosby's, we think that Noonan's will attract people from outside of Georgetown.
And that's coming in 97 as opposed to coming in some of the other areas.
Right. And the idea is, what we asked them was, how often do you come here? What do you like about Georgetown? What don't you like about Georgetown? What would you like to see if you were to come here more often? Questions like that.
So, and you're going to use the survey how?
Well, the idea is actually we're doing it in conjunction with Sarah Buck, the town planner. And the idea is to use that to talk to the business owners. For instance, I don't think I'm giving away any secrets here. Two of the things that people say is they love to see a restaurant downtown.
Yes.
Right in downtown.
Right.
So, that's something that we go to the business owners and say, next time you have space available, these are the kinds of things people are looking for.
Oh, okay.
And it's a long-term kind of thing, but it gives us a sense of what people are looking for. And one of the reasons they don't shop in Georgetown is mostly lack of variety, that there just aren't enough different kinds of shops. I'm not sure that you'd ever be able to cure that in a town that's as small as ours, in a downtown that's as small as ours. But you can use that to try to decide what kind of shops might make sense.
And for shop owners possibly to decide what to put in the shops that are existing now.
Yes. I mean, it's nothing, we can't force them, obviously, but it's information that it could be useful to them, we think.
Okay. Now, who are members of this right now?
Well, myself, Bob Belletto from the Georgetown Savings Bank, Larry Ogden, Jim Crosby, the gentleman who owns Crosby's Markets. We're on the board of directors. And people that come to the meetings all the time. Sarah comes to a lot of the meetings.
Sarah Bucker, town planner.
Town planner. Ed Desjardins and Joe Knapp from the Historical Commission. Pat Rattay and Bonnie Stecker from the Georgetown Country Gardeners. And then other people. For instance, Steve Flynn has been very supportive. Noonan's.
Who is from Noonan's,
He's from Noonan's. Steve has been very supportive. He's been to a few meetings.
Okay.
So
it's business people
it's
and
business
other committees
people
that
and
might
other
be
committees
involved.
in town. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, how long has this been organized?
Probably we've been incorporated since February of 2006, and it probably took us a couple of years before that to kind of get ourselves underway and decide what we were going to do. So I would say it's probably 4 or 5 years since we started meeting. It's been a while.
Okay.
It's been a while.
It's open invitation to anyone that would like to come?
Absolutely.
How will they find out when your meetings are?
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Oh,
okay.
I don't know how. If someone sends me an email, I send out an email message to all of the people on my email list.
All right.
And if someone is interested in possibly coming, if they send me their email address.
Or they can call you on the phone
They
and
can
give
call
you
me
the
on the
email
phone, and absolutely, they could do that. That's about the only way I can think of.
Now, where are the meetings held?
Here in the second floor meeting room, there used to be the selectmen's room.
Okay.
We meet in the afternoon. Steve Delaney has asked that I not meet in the evening because,
Because
there
of
are a
all
lot.
the other committees, right.
So we either meet at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or I think we're going to start moving it to maybe 5 or 5:30, so more business people
Okay.
can come.
So, again, it's not a town committee, but
No,
you
it's
are
not.
using the town hall for,
Yes.
for the meetings.
Yes.
So the meetings would actually have to be posted.
No, it's not. They don't. It's
Oh,
not a
okay.
town committee.
You just have to reserve the room.
We just have
That's
to
the
reserve the
difference.
room. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if they take a look at the calendar, they may see that
They
the
could
the
see
room
that
is
on the
reserved.
calendar. Yes, they could. It would,
And that's
because
great.
I usually book it a week or so ahead, so that I give people enough time,
Enough time.
so they can plan to
Yeah.
make them.
Or they can get hold of you and
Yes, and
you'll let them
whatever.
know.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
plans for the future. What are you looking at for the long range?
Well, a couple of things that we're actually working on right now. One of them is a brochure, as you're well aware. We're working on a brochure that has a map of downtown Georgetown and a list of businesses. And so far, I've identified maybe 70 or 75 businesses that could be in it. And, I've talked to maybe 30 or 35 of them, and they're interested.
Okay,
in
now
being
this
part
would
of it.
be stores,
Oh,
shops,
it's
but even at-home businesses?
Yes.
Because we have a lot of those in Georgetown.
Yes,
as
I don't know
know.
if I'll be able to fit them all in because there are a lot of stores. So the primary focus is stores at the
Okay.
moment. But if there's room, we certainly would put at-home businesses. In fact, we have a couple already. And I hope to get that done, I hope by the end of the month to get it. Talk to everyone.
Oh, that's great.
I'm working with someone to create the software, to create the application that we would then send off to a printer.
And then that would be put around Georgetown for people to
We have
pick
to
up?
sort of decide it. I think most of them, the idea most of them would go in a place like Noonan's or Sedler's or maybe Crosby's, where a lot of people go.
Okay.
So that people would find out what's available. For instance, the woman that's helping me with this, I sent her a list. Something else that happened, the record on Friday, the 30th, on Friday the 30th, we'll have a list of Georgetown businesses and a map as to where they all are.
Oh, okay.
And an article on the Alliance, and mostly on the survey. That's kind of what interested
Great.
was the survey. Anyway, this woman said to me when she looked down the list, I didn't know we had a bowling alley in Georgetown. So I said,
Someone
"See,
has
that-
mentioned that I should have him on the show, just so that people will
Right.
realize we still have a
bowling alley, that's right.
Yeah.
So I think the more information we put out there, I think that there are so many new people here in Georgetown
There are.
that they really don't know what's available. And this is that list in the paper is one thing, the brochure is another, and we have a website. Now it's not up and running yet, but now the website would be able to have anyone,
Listen.
home businesses. We can even give this, I think, because I'm just learning the software, that you can give people a page on a website so that they could put a picture in there, they could put their operating hours, or
Great.
or they could put, if somebody like Crosby's, they have their own website, you just put
A
a
link.
URL, you put a link to that. So that's the project for probably January or February. if
Sounds
I
like
could
a lot
get-
of work.
Yeah, it is, but I put my hand up.
Again, as you often do.
Yeah, that's so. And beyond that, I'm not sure. We want to stay involved in civic projects. I know there's a committee here in Georgetown it's called the Parking Committee, but they're very interested in seeing what they can do to make Georgetown more walkable. And
Okay.
the Historical Commission is interested in that as well. As are businesses. Foot traffic is a big thing for retail businesses. So that's something that we sort of keeping an eye on and to see if there's anything we can do about that. I would like to do a survey of the businesses. What do they like about having a business here? What don't they like? What would they like the town to do? What would they like the Alliance to do to help them?
Okay, so the server would go in the other direction.
Would go in the other direction.
Okay.
And then, talk about.
So a lot of this is to try and get people to stop thinking, oh, jump in the car, go to the mall.
Yes.
And-
And again, the overarching idea here is we want to make sure that the downtown is viable. I mean, at one point we thought, well, maybe we can get more tax money. It's not going to happen. It's the downtown is, sort of limited in what you can do. But however, it's important that it be viable. I mean, the last thing we want is empty storefronts.
Right. Right.
And then that eventually could translate in lower values and less tax revenue. So it's important that the town, that the businesses in town be viable.
Plus, downtown is spread out a little bit. We've got the center of Georgetown,
yes,
and then we have
the marketplace where Crosby's
market
is,
areas,
right.
And then the other small shopping center.
Right, where Dunkin' Donuts is.
Correct.
I mean, yes.
Right.
That's a little bit of an issue, I think, in trying to get people to walk around. They're very concerned about traffic. A couple of people mentioned traffic when they said, why don't you shop here? That the traffic is scary. Yes. Well, some of the things like putting those walkways in downtown, the crosswalks, I think was helpful.
It was. We had Chief Mulligan on the show already.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
And one of my questions to him was, what is the number one concern with the police department in Georgetown? And he said, traffic.
Yeah, it is.
And it's something that is a concern, I think, in every town.
Somehow it's worse for us, I think. It's such a crossroads. I mean, so many people who live in Haverhill and Groveland come up off of 95 and go through Georgetown.
Trying to come through Georgetown at 7 or 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and the same thing at 5 or 6 o'clock at night.
It's busy.
Yeah, the townies know how to take the routes around the back streets.
Yeah, but
a lot of traffic that comes through isn't.
That's right.
So this is something that will be ongoing.
Oh, I hope so, yeah.
Is actually there to promote the businesses of Georgetown.
Right.
And help them find a way to continue to grow, keep their doors open, and
keep
have
their
more
doors
people
open.
come in.
Right, and have more people shop here in Georgetown. And we want to try to make Georgetown more attractive. And hopefully, as I said, there'll be other civic projects that we might get involved in, principally around the downtown.
Well, we'll keep looking for them. And we'll look for the brochure.
Oh, okay.
That'll be one of the first things we look for.
And the website.
And then the website. And if anybody wants to become part of this, please let Jim know or let myself know. We'll make sure that we get the information to you. And thank you very much, Jim.
Oh,
thank you for
you're
being
welcome.
on the show.
Thank you.
Great job.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's it for now. Thank you very much. Join us again.